Hi everyone, this is Amy and this is my math landscape. So for my meaningful picture, I chose the cafeteria at our school at CSUCI. So let's get started here. So for number one, one-to-one correspondence, the lights. For me, I spent a lot of time in the cafeteria at UCSB on that campus, and the lights were very similar shaped. And so when I look at these lights and it's, a one-to-one counting because there's four on each spindle, it really reminds me of that time in my life. So number two is skip counting, the tile on the floor right here. Reminds me of, counting 2x2s. Reminds me of just counting tiles on the floor or on the ground. When I was a little girl, that was one of my favorite things, was to jump and kind of like a hopscotch. Um, so then there's number three, which is cardinality. The counter, one to one, one bag of chips or one item. I remember going to the store on campus as a little girl, and my mom would always give me $1, and so I had to match that dollar with, generally it was one item. So that reminds me of that. For subitizing, I put the cookie station. Right here, I think, with the cookie station, you can always just kind of glance and look down and see how many cookies are left, or if there's more or less, or it's, since they're small round circles, that's what it reminded me of. And it reminded me of a time when I was a little girl and my dad would take me to Subway, and I would always get a cookie. And so those cookies in the cafeteria remind me of that. They're very similar. So for compensation, of course, I put the front door because that's where we pay, and where we have to do quick math. We have to do, if something, we always have to round to figure out how much change we should get back and things like that. And so that reminded me of my mom always teaching me about mental math. I just didn't know it was called compensation, but it makes sense. So she always, when I was a little girl, when we would get the bill to pay or something, she would, tell me to guess how much the bill would be. And then she would say, okay, we'll add up all the items, if your drink was $2. And so we would go down, the list, and we would add up the items. And so that, yeah, that was mental math, and it served me well for when I'm getting change back or when I'm trying to calculate a bill. It takes me back to those days. So magnitude, which is number 6, over here, I have the lines. So the example that I gave and what this reminds me of is just the lines at school with children. There's always, we always have them line up for everything. And we have to measure our classroom and our class size by how many students are in line. And a lot of times, which is more, the children in the classroom are always looking at, say, Miss Alexandra's classroom, for example, and she has a lot of students in her line, and we have a little students in our line. So I hear a lot of that. I hear a lot of counting through in the environment in that sense. So number 7, I put over here in the salad bar, the cafeteria. It's for need for organization and keeping track. So the salad bar here reminded me of the children at school. They eat very healthy snacks, celery and carrots and cheeses, in the different food groups, and they always organize them very neatly on their plate before they eat. So that reminded me of the salad bar and snack time. And then making tens for number 8. I put it over here on the ceiling on the roof. There's the planks of this ceiling remind me of the popsicle sticks that the kids use, and they count by tens using the popsicle sticks. And so when I look up here um, on the ceiling, that's what I remember, and that's what it reminds me of. So thank you very much.